Okay, and I think we're live. All right, I'm going to get straight into it today, but first I've got, let's see. Okay, and I think we are live. All right, I'm going to get straight into it, guys. Let's see. Got a new speaker and mic set up here, so let me know in the comments if you can hear me. Also, I live out in the sticks, so I use that Elon Musk internet, and I might, drop connection or freeze or something. Just let me know if that happens or if the audio drops or anything so that I can go and repeat myself. So I'm just gonna wait in the comments real quick just to see if y'all can hear me. Cool. Okay. My better half is letting me know that she can hear me. Perfect. Always helps to have your wife in the comments. All right. So looks like I'm coming through. All right. So today we're going to talk about something that I know all of you busy people can relate to, and that's how to lose weight and get in shape, even though you're on the go, right? Now, if you know me, I always like to use analogies to get my point across. So here's one for you. Think about your business, right? You work hard, you put in the hours, you figure out what's working, and you double down on that. And then you throw out what's not working. Okay. And then eventually, with enough time and consistent course correction, you come out on top, right? That's exactly how it is with your fitness. It's a business and you got to invest in it. You got to treat it like a job, right? And you got to put the time and the effort to see results, right? And I get it, right? Life is like a never ending to-do list. You got work, you got family, you got friends, and then there's self-prioritization, right? And it can be overwhelming to fit all that in, right? So here's where most people get it wrong, right? They look at the whole picture. They look at all of those things and it's just too daunting, right? But just like with any big project, it's about chunking it down into manageable bite-sized pieces, right? And that's exactly what we're going to do today when it comes to your health and your fitness. So let's get into it, okay? So let me just ask you real quick. Do you feel like prioritizing your health should be a priority to show up in other areas of life? Okay. Like really, do you think that not prioritizing your health is going to help other areas of your life? Performance in your business, performance elsewhere, how you show up basically, right? I don't think you need me to tell you that, right? And your health should be part of that never ending to-do list, right? After all, like what's the point in working hard and building up a business and hustling every day, but your body is a limitation to enjoy all that? Okay. Now, some of you might be thinking, how can I possibly fit it in, right? How can I get exercise in? How can I, start prioritizing eating right when I barely have time to breathe? Let me ask you this. Is that even true though? Okay. Is it true that you can't do it? Like, is it a universal truth for every single person on the planet, or are you some special, butterfly when it comes to this, right? There's a lot of people who lead hectic schedules and run a business and still make the time, right? They still make the time for family, for fitness, for health, all of these things, right? Of course, right? That's the case, right? Now, it's probably rare. It's pretty rare these days, I think, but it's certainly not the case that it's a universal truth, right? Look at people like Grant Cardone. Dude's a billionaire. He's in great shape. And he's incredibly intentional about spending time, quality time with his family, right? Now, I've studied him a bit and I've seen what he does. And it really is about the small changes. Okay. This is where those small wins equate to big victories comes in, right? And just like in his business, he applies the same rule that kind of ties in small change is still change rule to his fitness, right? Any small change, no matter how small it is still a positive move in the right direction. Okay. Now, according to a study by the National Weight Control Registry, about 85% of men who lose weight and keep it off do so by making small incremental changes to their daily habits week by week. That's it. Okay. So it's not about overhauling your entire life. It's about making small tweaks here and there, right? And course correcting. And if anything, just knowing when to just fall back on maintenance. Okay, so that's what we're going to focus on today. And we're going to start out by debunking some of the most common beliefs about weight loss, especially for busy people. And then I want to get into the juicy stuff, which is really the applicable steps that you can start taking today to start moving in the right direction and get in top shape. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so let's get into some of the root issues that I've identified that really hold people back. Okay, and this really has to do with faulty thinking. Okay, now I may have already sort of debunked this first one, but let's take it a little bit deeper. And that's the classic excuse of I ain't got no time for no workout, right? Or I ain't got no time to eat healthy. Okay, I get it. Life is hectic. But let me ask you, is it that you don't have enough time, or is it that you just haven't figured out what you can do with the time that you've got? And look, I'm just telling you because I've seen it so many times at this point, right? You don't need to spend all day in the gym, and you don't need to live off rabbit food to see consistent results. And in fact, that's usually only going to lead to short-lived, cheap results, right? Not lasting results. Short, high-intensity workouts have been shown to be just as if not more effective. Okay, those long, like hour-long gym sessions, they're good if you're like really trying to optimize building muscle and you've spent a lot of time in the gym. But for most people, that's just not what's needed. Okay, and I think for most people, they would actually do a lot better if they just kept it simple. I see a lot of people that go to the gym. If you've ever spent a lot of time in a gym, you'll see people who show up to the gym for 5 years in a row, and they look exactly the same. Right? I've seen people get way better results by just grabbing some basic equipment, working out at home 10 to 20 minutes a day, and getting after it. Okay. For that, I highly recommend getting things like a weight vest. A weight vest is an incredible tool. Kettlebells are great too. There's something that a lot of my clients love that's called the X3 bar, which is basically just a foot plate with heavy bands that go around it and attached to a small rotating bar, right? So it kind of emulates like a heavy barbell. And I have one at home as well. And when the bands are fully stretched in a deadlift, it's like 600 pounds at the top. Right. So the room for strength and growth is higher than the ceiling for that is much higher than what most people even need. Right. And it all fits into a backpack. Another alternative is the Gorilla Bar. You can buy that on Amazon. And I think it's just a bit cheaper, but it doesn't go as heavy. Right. But I think a weight vest is probably the most versatile tool that you can have in your arsenal. And most of my clients see incredible results for a very long time with just that and some basic body weight calisthenic workouts at home. And again, most of them, they're not spending more than 15 to 30 minutes in a single workout. Okay. All right. So number 2, the second biggest roadblock or belief or hurdle that people face is thinking that it's just a lack of willpower or discipline. Okay. I hear people say this all the time. I just can't seem to stick to a diet. It's not just about having more willpower or building more discipline. Okay. Those things are important to leverage change, especially in the beginning, right? And they'll get you off the ground. And it is important to leverage those things at first. But the goal should really be about creating consistent lifestyle changes that you can live with. And that all starts with making small tweaks to your daily habits and challenging your thinking patterns. Okay, so the real ticket here It's to nurture your new habits as you're developing them. Okay, start by just making those small, simple, super doable changes, right? Simple things like, reaching for water instead of soda. Cut out the low-hanging fruit and start there, right? Snacking on, fibrous or protein snacks instead of junk food, okay? And then after some time, you'll start to stack up more and more evidence that change is possible. You'll gain momentum, and eventually you'll be taking on more and more, right? And you'll be excited to. That's the difference, right? It'll feel as easy as the small changes in the beginning. That's really the goal, is that you don't notice the change, but after weeks turn into months, you're just taking on bigger and bigger bites, right? And it will generally feel easier as you go. Again, the hardest part is starting, right? But as you go, you start getting that feedback physiologically and psychologically, right? And then you'll start enjoying the process, right? I've said this before, no one's ever made $100 million without enjoying the game of business, okay? And the same is true for building a lean athletic physique, okay? I had a client who will remain anonymous, used to be over 500 pounds. And the other day I got off the phone and they were telling me how they were just so excited because for the first time in their life, it didn't feel like a chore, right? And they're 190 pounds now. Okay. That's to me like the biggest victory ever, is to fall in love with the game, because then there's no turning back. Once you get to that point, you're going to keep going. And that's so much more empowering than just trying to focus on building willpower and discipline and always being something that you don't want to do, but you force yourself to do. There is merit and there is honor in that, but that shouldn't be the end goal. Okay. Now, it's important to note that the same is true in reverse. Okay. Because there's probably, think of it like this. There's always reasons or things that we get from our habits, right? Like eating bad, let's say, bad habits, eating bad, fast food, whatever, not going to the gym, not, doing something that's healthy, kind of just like being a couch potato. That gives you something, that does something for you, right? And here's why. Habits are created as mental shortcuts to save energy and relieve stress in the decision-making process. That's it. That's what a habit is, right? That's why you don't even think about it when you're walking to the fridge. You're just trying to relieve stress. It's an unconscious, thoughtless habit. So the goal should be really to make that work for you and not against you, right? And focusing on small actions, it may seem insignificant at first, but over time, that's really the way to do that, right? And it'll become an integral part of your routine. You'll develop those non-negotiables and you'll fall in love with the process. Okay, so the real key is to take things slow and steady instead of relying solely on willpower and discipline to make drastic, unrealistic, unsustainable changes. That's it. Okay. Again, there's honor in building discipline, but you don't want to rely on it for an unsustainable amount of time. Okay. Okay, so the third and final belief that I'll address is the old "I'll start tomorrow" excuse. We've all been there, right? But there ain't no perfect time to start. The best time is now. The best time was yesterday, right? And if you slip up, don't sweat it. You just start again. Get back on track, keep moving forward. That's the name of the game. Name of the game. It's simply a decision to start. It's really that simple, okay? Let me just ask you, if you're watching this on the recording or live, why wouldn't you start today? I'll just pause for a second. If anybody comes up with a valid excuse, I'll give you $1 million, right? Yeah, so look, more often than not, it's really about stripping away the perfection and getting to the point where we say, right, if I directionally move in a positive direction, no matter how big or small that may seem at times, for a long enough period of time, I will get there as long as I don't stop. Okay. I've said this before, but you got to figure out why you didn't start yesterday. And there's always a reason, right? Now, when you list those reasons out on paper, you may laugh at how ridiculous they are. You may realize that most of them are all excuses or things out of your control, but you have to get clear and identify what they are if you ever want to break free of them and stop being a victim to those reasons. Okay. All right. So that's it for the beliefs. Those are the most common beliefs that I see that really hold people back. So let's get into the meat and potatoes now and start bringing the heat. Hopefully I've debunked some of those pesky beliefs that are holding you back. Maybe not. If not, let me know. But let's talk about what you can do to actually start making progress towards your weight loss and performance goals, even if you're busy as hell. Okay. So step one, make a damn game plan. Okay. Listen, having a game plan is key to getting to that attractive postcard, that preferable experience that you would like to experience. Okay. Whatever that is. Okay. And let's be clear, nobody wants to just lose weight to lose weight. It's about what kind of life experience does that open up for you, right? So it's like having a clear strategy for your business, right? You got to know your goal and the steps to get there, right? So let's decide on what we want to achieve or experience, or what preferred experience we would like to have. And then, whatever it is, right? Like put some specifics to it, but try to put the actual feeling behind it too. So the actual specifics might be, running a 5K, or, just losing a bunch of weight, or deadlifting a car, whatever it is. But then think about what that does for you. Okay. And then set a deadline. Set a deadline for when you would like to achieve the goal. From there, and here's the thing, don't attach too much to that, but set a deadline that's realistic, okay? And maybe give yourself a range of what you would like to achieve. This is like the bare minimum, and this is extra bonus points. From there, we can reverse engineer down to those small manageable tweaks each and every week, right? And then plot a course and make it happen, okay? So that could be focusing on meal planning. That could be picking the low-hanging fruit at first. That could be, actually scheduling out workouts and making a plan, just tracking progress. I've seen people get incredible results just by taking photos of what they eat each and every week and just looking at them and reviewing them and asking, what would I like to change about this each and every week? Okay. Now, my advice when making a plan is to make it as clear and concise as possible. All right. You want to set a rigid, sort of black and white plan. And the reason that is it prevents decision fatigue. It saves energy in the decision-making process in terms of what to do, especially when you're wearing all these hats and you got a million things on your mind. The more rigid and black and white the plan is, the more it'll prevent that from happening. But here's the thing, right? In terms of your execution, you need flexibility, okay? Have several contingency plans in place to give yourself some grace for when things get crazy, right? Now, studies show that one of the biggest factors of diet adherence is knowing when to pull the lever on being okay with just maintaining progress and knowing how to do that. That's so crucial for the long-term success, because what do most people do? They get completely, derailed, right? They fall off the tracks, and then they beat themselves up and they make a bunch of poor choices, right? So instead of doing that, just being okay with maintenance for a while is a freaking superpower. That'll ensure that you'll keep going. Because here's the thing, we all lose motivation. It's based on feelings, and feelings are fleeting. Motivation is important because, again, that's what leads to more of that effortless habit formation. But it's going to come and go. So when it's not there and you don't feel like doing it, you need to leverage discipline. Maybe that doesn't work. Instead of falling off the track, just figure out what maintenance is. What's the bare minimum? What's the minimum effective dose that makes sure that you don't fall backwards? Okay, because the motivation is going to come back. Feelings are going to come back, and you're going to be motivated again. And you're going to feel like shit if you let yourself go and you gain a bunch of weight, right? Okay, so tip number 2 is to treat your body like a temple, okay? I know, life gets busy. We sort of kind of forget about ourselves, right? Our self-prioritization falls down the list of priorities. But taking care of this temple, you need to make it a non-negotiable. You got to take care of your body, okay? This is your tool for everything that you do and create. And it's directly, correlated with how you show up for everything, okay? It's a reflection of the inner game, okay? Your physical is the reflection of your mental, right? So think of it like investing in your company assets, right? If you don't invest in yourself, you won't see growth, period, right? So make time for some self-care, stress mitigation, whatever it is, massage, meditation, yoga, breath work. You can do ice baths. That's like my go-to, right? Is a little jacuzzi ice bath every morning and some breath work in the evening. It goes a long way, right? Especially when it comes to cortisol. And cortisol is a huge player. You could be doing everything right in the diet and working out. And if your cortisol is out of whack, it's going to make it much, much harder to shed weight and build muscle, right? So whatever it is for you, whatever floats your boat, figure out how you can do that for yourself. Now, sleep is probably the most important thing with this. It's the biggest influencer on your body's ability to recover and perform at a high level, right? And guys and gals, it's the biggest influence on your testosterone, which is incredibly important for everything, right? You should be doing everything you possibly can to optimize your testosterone levels, especially if you want to achieve and maintain a lean, athletic physique, right? It's also going to just make sure that you're in a better mood, right? You're going to have higher levels of optimism and drive, and you're going to perform at a higher level in your business, right? And you're going to perform at a higher level in everywhere, right? You're going to just be feeling so much better if your testosterone levels are optimized. Sleep is the biggest player in that, right? And it's the biggest player on your quality of life. So my recommendation is to start with turning off your screens. I just made a video about this. Turn them off at least by 8 p.m. I don't care when you go to bed. Try to turn those screens off by 8 p.m. Okay. And if you're going to bed super late, that's something you want to think about too. All right. Probably the biggest influence next to eating late on your quality of sleep. Okay. So tip number 3 is to surround yourself with a squad. Okay. Losing weight can feel like a solo journey sometimes, but it doesn't have to be. And that will make it a lot harder. The lone wolf mentality, it doesn't work. Okay. So find a workout buddy, right? Join a group or hire a coach, right? To keep you accountable and hold you to your word, right? It's like having a team in your business. Everyone has a specific role. Everyone has specific strengths and weaknesses, right? And they've got each other's back, and it helps, push each other towards success. If you got good company culture, right? There's tons of studies that show that people who have a strong support system are way, way, way more likely to stick with their fitness and weight loss goals, right? There's a study that was published in the International Journal of Behavioral found that participants who had support systems, they lost like twice as and kept it off longer than those who didn't have a support system and were going at it alone, right? So for those of you that are watching this in the Facebook group, you get what you give, right? Let's surround ourselves with the squad that we have available to us and make this journey a winning one, right? Let's elevate the standard for each other, right? Share your wins. What are you working on? What needs tweaking? Every week, show up for it, and let's learn and grow together, all right? So tip number 4 is to treat making healthy choices like it's your job, All right. Make it a priority. We can complain about not having time all day, but it really is never an issue of time. It's always an issue of priority management. Okay. Making healthy food choices is essential to leading a healthy lifestyle. It's that simple. You got to eat right if you want to lead a healthy lifestyle and get fit, right? It's about 80 to 90% of it. All right. Now it's important to keep in mind that, it's progress, not perfection. That's the goal. Okay. We all make mistakes just like we do in a job, right? And it's okay to slip up every now and then and be human and indulge in your favorite junk food once in a while, as long as you have control over it, right? Just like in a job, there needs to be room for a little trial and error and constant course correction. So again, going back to small steps towards healthier eating and building the habits, right? Just think of simple things, right? Swapping out sugary drinks for water, right? Adding a side of veggies to all of your meals, trying to get 2 palms of protein on your meal, right? Just simple things like that, right? They will lead to significant wins over time. Let me give you 3 examples off the top of my head that are just some small steps that you can take. Okay. So number 1 is, start with breakfast. Okay. If you can win there, you're more likely to win lunch and dinner, right? So if you get a nutritious, healthy breakfast, that's going to set the tone for the rest of the day. It's going to help you keep you energized and just psychologically, you're like, yeah, got to win, right? That's going to lead to more wins. So some favorites of mine, a bowl of Greek yogurt with a little fresh fruit. You can add some protein powder in there if you want. Eggs and Canadian bacon, great option, or turkey bacon. Pretty simple. Green protein smoothie with spinach and fruit, just things like that. Those are pretty much what I go through and alternate with, throughout the week. Okay. So another one that is really good is then, okay, you won breakfast. Now let's win lunch. Now, most of you are on the go. So you need to find the lead domino, right? Most of us are making decisions when it's too late. Start with the lead domino. Pack your own lunch. That's simple, right? Just packing your own lunch gives you complete control. That's it, right? Try packing, just a healthy chicken veggie wrap or whatever you like. Throw some, avocado in there, some mixed greens, tasty, easy to pack, keeps well, and the macros are going to be pretty spot on, right? So just think of that. Think of the lead domino with all of these things, right? Another one is maybe planning for snacks, right? And this has everything to do with hacking your environment. So if you got a bunch of junk laying around your house, you're screwed. You're making it too hard on yourself. So, get rid of that stuff. If you need to, have a conversation with the family. Say, hey, we're going to make some changes here. We're going to start living healthier. It's okay to have some variety once in a while, but try to fill your environment with healthy stuff, right? And having healthy snacks is a great way to make sure that you don't overeat, right? Because that's where we often get all the hidden calories. So think protein and fiber. So jerkies, little Greek yogurt cups are great, celery, carrots, a small portioned out handful of nuts. Be careful with them nuts. They can get out of control. They're really calorie dense. Not that they're inherently bad. They're just really heavy in calories. Okay. So those are just some ideas off the top of my head. Let me know if you want any other ideas or have any questions on those. So the 5th tip is to stay accountable, stay on track. We've set a goal, right? We've got a team around us. Now it's time to stay accountable to that, right? Staying accountable is crucial when it comes to reaching any goal, right? And just think of like the idea of having a coach in your corner, right? That's pushing you, that's, really, again, holding you to your word and encouraging you along the way, but also kind of pointing out to you when you're falling off track, right? And showing you those blind spots. Whatever it is, whether it's, you're tracking your own food, you're tracking your exercise, you got a fitness app, you got a workout buddy to motivate you, whatever it is, or just simply writing things down, right? accountability is really the ticket to keep you on track with the plan, right? And ensure that you keep showing up for that big game, right? The game of life, right? Now, accountability, think of it like this. It's really just about keeping your goals and values and how they're aligned top of mind consistently every single day. That's it. You can do that on your own, and I would encourage you to do that on your own, or you can build a team around you that really makes that easier. It's up to you. Okay, so the final and last tip that I'll give you today is to celebrate your wins. Okay, again, small change, no matter how big or small, is something that should be celebrated. Excuse me. It's essential. It's essential to acknowledge and celebrate your victories, right? No matter how small or big they may seem. And here's why. We need evidence. We need evidence to change the way that we think. We need confirmation to change our subconscious thinking patterns. That is, I'm not going to get into subconscious stuff today, but that is literally the only word we need to know, is to build evidence and confirmation that change is possible. And then the way we think changes, which is really the ticket to winning the game. Okay. So whether it's losing a few pounds, completing a challenging workout, or just making more consistent, healthy choices, take the time to reflect on your progress and record it, right? And give yourself a little pat on the back every time you do. Okay. According to a study published in the Journal of Consulting and Clinical Psychology, people who tracked the progress and were able to analyze both their slip-ups and wins and do it from a place of non-judgment, they built more optimism, right? They were able to look at the data through a curious lens, which led to more solutions, right? And that made them way, way, way more likely to stick to their goals and make those lasting changes and actually change their thinking and build those habits. So celebrate your wins. It's crucial, right? And it's like a touchdown every time, that even if it's a small win, just look back and be like, hey, heck yeah, I did that, right? Celebrating your achievements, it'll keep you motivated. It'll keep you inspired. It'll make it so that you don't have to rely on discipline again as much, which is really the goal, right? It'll keep you pushing towards your goals. And really just keep everything top of mind. Again, that's like the biggest takeaway from all this is like, can you just take a step back, pause, and just keep everything top of mind? Why are you doing this in the first place? Why are you moving in this direction? Why are you tracking all these things? What's the goal, right? And how is that aligned with your values? All right, so there you have it, guys. Some practical tips that you can use to start achieving your weight loss goals, build performance, even if you're in the busiest season of your life. Consistency, motivation, and a solid plan. That's really the winning formula. Okay. All right. So it's time for a little Q&A. I've got a few questions from some clients and from the private Facebook group. I got them written down here, and then I'll pull up the group too. And if anybody wants to leave some questions in the chat here, feel free to do that. Or if you're watching from the Facebook group, you can do that there. Feel free to drop your questions in the comments, and I will make sure to answer them. Okay, so I got a few on my phone here. Let me just get this real quick. All right. Cool. Okay, so got one from, I'm going to keep my clients anonymous here, but what if I can stick to a meal plan? What if I can stick to a meal? What if I can't stick to a meal plan? I have a really unpredictable schedule. Okay, so look, again, it comes down to being preemptive, right? And having a plan in place, and then contingency plans. to have that flexibility. That's really what, if you're really busy, you know, let's say you're traveling a lot or your schedule is just chaotic, that means your environment's going to be chaotic. So you need plans for each of those environments and if things kind of go awry, right? So it's being preemptive, having a plan, and then sprinkling a little bit of flexibility on that. That's so key, right? So do your best to make sure that you have healthy options on hand, you know, whether that's making sure that you do a bit of meal prepping, stocking up on healthy snacks, or, you know, knowing the best places to grab a healthy bite when you're out traveling or on the go. It's all about being proactive and having options, you know, like a backup plan or contingency plan for your business, right? And also just make sure, again, that you're searching for those lead dominoes, right? What makes all of those things I just mentioned easier, right? And take less effort, right? How can you automate? How can you delegate these types of things, right? So actually time blocking and preparing for that meal prep day, setting reminders in your calendar. That's really where the change is made, right? And that goes for anything you're trying to change, for a matter of fact, right? Okay, so the second question is, I find it hard to make time for exercises during the weekdays. Any tips? Okay, so again, this is going back to the small wins, right? Like start small and then build up, right? Like maybe all you can budget for is a quick 10 minutes a day, you know, and one of my clients right now who's a doctor, he wakes up at 3 a.m. every day, 4 days a week, I think. And he's in the office by 4:30 a.m. And then he gets off around 7 p.m. And he's crushing it right now daily with just simple 10-minute Tabata workouts throughout the week, right? That he gets them done as soon as he gets off work, right? And then on the weekend, he makes up for that time and does something a little more strenuous, right? So just finding ways to incorporate physical activity as much as possible, whether it's in a workout that's really efficient and intense and short, and that's the best recommendation I can give to people who are really busy, or if it's just like stuff in your daily activity, right? Your net, you know, energy expenditure essentially. So, you know, walking more, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, you know, those simple little things where you can fit in activity, right? I just got another question in here. I think I answered that one. Yeah. So really, yeah, again, just progress over perfection. And if you can, you know, try to schedule things and again, look for those lead dominoes. For whatever reason, I can't see your name, but I can see that we got another question. What can I do to stay on track with working out and eating healthier? Stay on track with working out, and eating healthier. Well, there's a lot that you can do. Like I mentioned, you know, I would go back if you hadn't watched the whole thing and look at some of the things I said to do a deep dive on that. That's a bit vague. What can I do to stay on track and working out and eating healthier? Yeah, I need a little more information to give you like a real detailed answer, but all the steps I just laid out, small wins, focus on small incremental changes that are super doable that you can live with. Start by picking the low-hanging fruit, and then again, shrinking the change. You know, it's what do you need to do? You need to move more. You need to eat less, right? Everyone hears that, but that's like, you know, so vague, right? Breaking it down to small incremental changes each and every week is the best way, and the research shows this is the best way to change your behaviors over time and get a desirable, sustainable result, right? And also have the shifts in mindset that are so necessary to sustain a result long term. But yeah, go ahead and watch the recording. I'll make sure that you see it when I go back in the Facebook group and see what your name is. Okay. Another one, I've tried everything and I just can't seem to lose weight. What am I doing wrong? Okay. I would need to know what everything is. You know, it could be a number of things. Again, with these, you know, I'm glad you guys are asking these questions, but what I would do, like as your coach, is I would invite you to get more specific, and not leave anything up for ambiguity. Again, this is why tracking is so important, right? Because it doesn't leave anything up to ambiguity. It's specific, measurable data, and what gets measured gets managed, right? So instead of, kind of thinking like, oh, there's nothing I can do, it's like, no, here's the data, here's what's working, here's what's not working. That's what tracking does for you. That's why it's so crucial, especially when you're trying to really make changes and transform. It's not necessary forever, but when you're trying to really transform, it is crucial, right? And what it does is it just prevents us from thinking like we're broken or, we don't know what to do. It just gives us the solutions because we got data and we tweak things each and every week. We course correct, we keep moving forward. Okay. But yeah, I couldn't really give you an answer specifically without asking you a follow-up question to be more specific. It could be that you're, not getting enough sleep. It could be that you need to switch up your workout routine. It could be something in the diet, or it could be something more complex like a hormonal issue, cortisol or, something like that. My advice is to seek out professional help, whether that's a doctor, and I'd recommend, a functional doctor, or a nutritionist or performance coach. Okay. That way you'll be able to kind of sort the data out and really come up with a tailored solution to help you specifically in your specific needs, right? Because without that data, I can't really help. So I hope that at least steers you in the right direction. Okay, so let me pull up the Facebook group. I had a question from Matt Berry about, I think I asked a follow-up question because I needed a little more clarity on the question, but it was something about the, okay, here we go. It's been said that we all have so many big lifts in us. That being said, I've stepped into my arena focus late and compared to most athletes. As I look to prove this theory wrong, what tips do you have for me? And I followed up with saying, yeah. So I think you're talking about like longevity and performance in the sport of weightlifting, because I know you've been hitting the weights hard for a while, man. And I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm like the best person to give you an answer on this, because I competed in, powerlifting for about 10 years and then kind of gave up on it because of all the injuries that I had. But one thing that I do know is that, dude, if you're getting into it like later in life, you probably want to be doing less than you think you should. And leaving room for recovery is probably going to lead to the biggest lifts. So really applying the rule of like, okay, you want to get stronger, you want to build muscle, whatever it is, it's important that you intentionally leverage stress while also making sure that your recoverability is leveraged above that, right? And you can actually do something like wear a wearable, like a Whoop, or an Oura Ring, where it'll actually give you a stress score and a recoverability score and tell you like how recovered you are. But that's what I would focus on, dude, is really focusing on recovery rather than pushing the big numbers. And then the big numbers will come and you'll keep making that incremental change in strength without getting injured and taking, one step back for every 2 steps forward. That would be my advice. Okay. Last question, guys, and then I'm going to hop off here. We had one more in the Facebook group. Jack had a question about, okay, we got a few questions in there potentially. Okay, so you got the shoulder thing, but you got surgery. That's okay, cool. So we can, and hit me up, dude, if you want to talk about like recovering as quickly as possible. I'm going to give you a quick one right now on the shin splints, since you've been picking up your running. When I was in the military and trying out for, we were both in that program. I had like debilitating shin splints, and to the point where I couldn't couldn't walk. I was like shaking on my feet. It was terrible. The only thing that helped, other than like trying to live off of ibuprofen, which I do not recommend, was getting a calf stretching board. That was everything. All right. Just really spending a lot of time on a calf stretching board daily. Like, actually, I think it was night and day, like every morning and every night. I get on that thing and I would stretch out my calves. Right. So the reason why you usually get shin splints is because on the other side, something's really screwed up and tight. So you want to stretch like 2 minutes, bent knee, 2 minutes straight knee, and just stretch. And that's the way that I did it. Okay, I think that's it for the questions. I'll give it a few more minutes if anybody else wants to ask a few questions. I'll get to them. But otherwise, if not, we'll wrap this thing up. Okay, cool. So I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Thanks for all the great questions. It's been a wild ride. I hope you guys have gotten some valuable insights and practical tips to help you on your weight loss journey. And remember, guys, when it comes to being busy as hell and trying to lose weight, it's really about having a game plan. It's about being flexible. It's about being proactive, right? And searching for those lead dominoes, right? Just like how you run your business, you got to run your body like a well-oiled machine, right? And most importantly, don't be too hard on yourself, right? Losing weight and improving your health, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Can we just rewatch? Just saw this. Yeah, absolutely. For whatever reason, I can't see your names, guys. If you're in the Facebook group, just like if you attach your name to the comment, that'd be great too, so I know where to find you. Because I'm using StreamYard and I can't. It just says Facebook user, which is kind of lame. But I am going to record this. This is being recorded, and I'm going to post it on my private Facebook group. So I hope you're in there. If not, try to reach out to me on Facebook and all. Cool. Thanks, Alan. Yeah, if you're in the Facebook group, I'll tag you. But if not, I'll find you on Facebook and I'll tag you in the recorded version of this. So thanks for hopping in though and making the time. Okay, so gonna wrap this up. Guys, I'll just say the last thing, if you're watching the recording or whatever, I'll just say this is, and I say this in every training, it doesn't help you to watch this and then move on to the next video, YouTube video or whatever, right? You got to do something with it. And I hope that you do, right? But just jumping from one idea to the next, that's just mental masturbation, in my opinion, right? And it's really, really, really not helpful. So if you're watching the recording or if you watch this live, start making some declarations today. All right. Let us know if you're in the private group. Let us know what you're going to do with this knowledge and make some, again, find those lead dominoes, write them out and make a strong declaration. Say, this week, I'm going to take this specific action, even if it seems small, right? That's how you make change. That's how you transform your body and your life over time. Okay. So go get out there. I want to see some declarations in the group. Put these tips into action and let's make some serious gains, you guys, in health, wealth, and life. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. Stay strong, stay focused on what matters to live a fulfilling life. And as always, I'll see you in the next one, guys, on your side.